My name is Thomas Maupin, and I am from Eagleville, Tennessee, and I am a buck dancer with the Flatfoot style.
And I'm Thomas Maupin's grandson, Daniel Rothwell, and I'm an old-time banjo player. I've been accompanying him on the banjo since I was probably about 13 years old.
As a small boy, young, I've been dancing ever since I can remember. Buck dancing to me now is I mix buck dancing and flatfoot together. But buck dancing is not a deal where you get your feet way up in the air to start with. You know, and flatfoot is fairly close to the floor. Playing the tune with a toe and a heel that the musicians are playing for you to dance to, and you're trying to match, you're trying to play music with them. Not about doing steps. It's about playing music. Had a piece of pie and had a piece of pudding, give it all away just to see that it's good. And your feet will say that with their music when it comes to had a piece of pie and had a piece of pudding. Your feet should be doing them notes along with it. I call my steps notes, and I'm trying to match that music that's being played and be a part of it. I stress on that all the time. You know, what is buck dancing? And buck dancing is playing that tune along with the musicians and being a part. I'm just like a musician. I mean, just like someone playing a banjo or guitar. I'm part of that band. I'm part of that tune. That tune is inside of me. So I try to bring it out. I'm going to show y'all just a few steps, that basic steps that I use. That's good. The steps I'm using is learning you to dance on both feet at the same time. We'll start off with a toe, then a heel. Toe, heel, toe, heel. See. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Now to mix that up, you know, you go for 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1, 2, with a toe on one side and a heel on the other. Now if you want to add another note to that, you click his heel. Now we're going to add another note. Now we're going to add another note. Now you can add to that as many steps as you want, as long as it's within the tune that's being played. If you put too many notes in it, you'll be tap dancing, and you don't know you're not dancing the tune. You're just making up notes you're putting in there. So it's best not to put tap dance steps in there. I call it a flatfoot style because it's not flat foot, not just flat foot. I'm doing a toe and a heel, and I'm doing it on both feet. I dance on both feet at the same time, which is important. You can play that tune a little bit better if you hit a toe and a heel, and that's flatfoot. What I call it flatfoot. Buck dancing is the same way. I just don't get my feet so high that I can't get them back in time to, I don't want to miss no note. But I don't dance really wild to start with. I try to have a good move. I try to have my body is part of my dance. I came from a dance family. I'm one of 10 kids, 5 boys and 5 girls. And at one time we all danced. My grandmother danced in the house, barefooted. You'd hear a tune come on the radio. Well, she was an old lady, but I could hear her heels hit the floor right on time with the music. And once you get to dancing and get to feel that you comes over you, the music will tell you whether you in sync with them or not, because it sounds when you in sync with the music, your steps becomes easier, and you can be more relaxed with it. You don't have to be tight with it, and you just flow with it, just like you musicians. You've been playing that tune for 100 years.
Right, the same way as a musician, when everybody is together and right on the center of that beat, it's a whole lot easier to play than when. Say, I've heard you talk about this for years, that they'll have the band playing for the dancer be like, some distance off, but sound is an element of time. If it takes a little while for that sound to get to you, then you wind up being behind the beat or ahead of the beat or something, and so when everybody is where they can hear each other, it's a whole lot easier to play, because you can anticipate what each other's going to do. And
yes, it's very important for you to be right there. And most people don't realize this. If the music is way off somewhere or another, by the time you hear it and by the time you react to it, you're hundredths of a second behind the beat. You need to be right here where the band is, and playing that tune with them with your feet. To me, that's important. See, but most dancers or instructors don't know that. They'll have the band way off over somewhere else. That you can hear them, but it's not like being right here, being part of that band.
And bands play in concerts and things. They've got those monitors there for a reason, because they have to hear each other.
That you have to hear each other.
I like to be able to hear the dancer.
Yes, it's important. To me now, it's important. It might not be you don't beat the floor. You just sort of brush floor with your taps. To make that note. You don't just beat it like you're trying to kill a snake or something.
Right.
You float.
Yeah.
You own this bubble where you float.
Yeah.
Float like a butterfly. And when you hit the floor with a toe and a heel, with a toe and a heel, and when you go down, you dance on both feet at the same time. And I'd like to show how you can time yourself with a toe and a heel, toe and a heel, toe and a heel, toe and a heel, and that way it'll time you. It puts you. You got to have yourself in time before you put with the timing of the music, And that's a good way right there, is the toe and a heel. And so I carry my weight. When this toe's doing something, I've got my weight over here on the other foot on the ball of my foot.
Yeah.
And then that way my heel is coming down. That's another note right there. That's where I can get some extra notes in. But you can put too many notes in a tune that don't go with it.
Yeah.
Sally Gooden had a piece of pie, had a piece of pudding, give it all away just to see Sally Gooden. Each one of them words is a note. And most dancers don't. I've got to do this. I've got to do that.
Yeah.
If you hit that out of wrong, it don't blend good with it. You got to make your note sound like you're saying, Had a piece
Right.
of mine, had a piece of wood, and give it all away just to see something good.
I remember talking to somebody one time. They just heard it as instrumental. They said, "You mean Sally Gooden's got words?" I said, "Yeah, it's got words."
The notes are words.
Yeah, and I've heard the old fiddlers say, you know, when you playing the tune, you know, you're supposed to be able to hear Sally Gooden at the end of that,
Yes.
even in their playing.
And it's the good, really old time music a long time ago didn't put a shave and a haircut and 2 bits on it. But I believe myself, this is personally, I believe to show the audience that my feet will say shave and a haircut and 2 bits, even though they don't put it on there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I try to finish it out with a shave and a haircut, 2 bits, and make it sound like a shave and a haircut and 2 bits. And it's little details like that it takes you a while to learn that I think is important in the dance. Dad would come in, because there's always a bunch of kids at our house. And late in the evening, when Dad came in from work, you know, he'd grab us by the hand and say, and he'd be dancing around. My dad was a good two-stepper. He wasn't a buck dancer, but he could round dance really good, had good rhythm round dancing. And he'd take his old hat and put it on the kid, you know, and he'd grab them and they'd go around in the floor. And he did that all the time. And that, of course, I came from a dance family on both sides of my father's side and my mother's side. My grandmother was a good old dancer, really old, probably about the same age as I am now. You know, we really didn't know exactly how old she was, not really, because back then they would write the names and birthdays down in the Bible. Well, the tale was that her house burnt down and burned everything up, and birthdays didn't mean as much as they do now to some people, because we was all poor anyway. If you got an apple, you were doing good. That was a good birthday present. It was a good Christmas present. Because I grew up with five sisters and 4 brothers. It was 10 kids in our family, so we all danced. We danced like we grew up dancing, you know. We made our own steps to fit the music.
You talk about, I've heard you say many times how you remember the sound of your grandmother's heels hitting the floor.
Right on top of the beat,
Yeah.
right on top of the beat. And her heels would hit the floor. She'd be barefooted most of the time, you know, because everybody didn't wear shoes hardly back then.
Uh-huh.
And didn't have any money to wear shoes. Saved them for wintertime.
Yeah.
So that's the way I learned. My family learned me to dance until I got old enough to make my own music with my feet.
Yeah.
And
Wasn't any formal teaching, just grew up around it, and it's just
grew
a
up
way of
around
life.
it all my life. I can't hardly remember when I didn't dance. And I grew up with rhythm inside of me, rhythm and timing, and the music put the timing in me. I had the rhythm. I was born with my rhythm, and my timing, my music put me in time. Because I'm always listening. I'm always listening to what my feet's doing and where it's fitting the music or not. And dancers need to learn that you don't just beat the floor. When you're dancing on a bunch of eggs that you don't want to break them. Yes, I'm going to have Jake here, my apprentice, to show you some advanced steps that I can't hardly do now since I had my stroke. So turn it on, Jake. just all just it's in my whole family, and it's in my dad's family. Never seen my mom dance a lick, not at all. Round dance or anything. But her grandmother danced. They told me, but she was gone. But I did see my grandmother dance.
And that was your mama's mama.
That was
right?
my mom's mama, and she was an old lady, but she could still hit that rhythm and timing. You couldn't hear her toe lick as much as you could a heel, because she done got old and
But you remember hearing that heel right on top of the beat.
Right on top of the beat, and that's important.
Yeah.
It's a hundredth of a second out. It's a hundredth of a second out. Like you playing with a group, you've got to fit with the group.
I know it. I've played with people several times where they'll be in time, but not in time. They're in time with their self. They're playing a steady tempo.
Yeah.
And rock solid staying on it, but it's not the same tempo as the rest of the band. Or they're playing on the upbeat instead of the downbeat.
Yes.
It's not lined up.
Yes, a lot of people don't know where they're in between the beat or not.
Right.
They're not listening to the music and they're not playing the tune.
Right.
And it takes more skill and looks better and sounds much better. I can tell when somebody's between the beat.
Right.
Just to lick it to. But once you recognize that when you're dancing, it'll tell you. It'll become easier. Your notes will become easier. You won't have to dance as hard. You can just flow with it, and flowing with it makes your body look better. You know, you're not out of shape. You're not just every which way. And 'cause you use the arms a little bit for balance. But you don't want to be stiff with it. You want your body to be a part of what your dance is doing, what your feet's doing. It looks better, and it actually takes more skill too. But you have to learn that, and recognize your ears will tell you whether you're in sync or not.
Mm-hmm.
And the musicians, if you stay out of sync, the musicians let you know. They either won't play with you or they won't play for you.
Yeah, I've seen musicians, one doesn't like what the other one's doing. They'll tighten that circle up a little bit more, and they'll turn that back to somebody, you know.
Yeah, I've seen that. Or they'd make a frown.
Yeah.
They make a frown when.
As a friend of mine said, they'll give you the stink eye.
Yes. I never heard of that now, Daniel.
Yeah, Kim Johnson said that the fiddle players give you the stink eye if you play too loud or something, you know.
Yeah. A lot of dancers that's got taps on, you know, they don't even, musicians really don't like to dance with me to play for you to dance, you know. But I've never had no problem with that. Matter of fact, I've heard some say, well, you help make me play, because you playing your feet in time, you know. But my body, once you learn that, your body will tell you. These are normally clogging shoes. You can hear that rattle there. In my flatfoot dancing, I don't like them to rattle. I just like a tap. I just like them tap on the floor. But now you can do this. You can use these right here, but to me it don't sound as good as a flat tap. It's because I like that sudden, just one deal. And I used to wear, I can wear taps like he's used to when I danced a little bit harder and wilder. But I found out that the flat tap is better for me than the loose tap. So now I want to show you a tap that I use in flatfoot. There they are. And I want to be sure you see this right here too. Now I'm going to show you this other one. And you can tell that these shoes have been several miles. They about like me, they about wore out. Old time clawhammer banjos is my favorite. And Daniel and I we got something together that we can relate to.
We've been good partners, haven't we?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. We can show off together. One makes the other play better.
Yeah. Feeding off what each other's doing.
Right. You hit your best lick, and I hit my best lick. You bring it out.
Yeah.
I'm bringing you out. You bringing me out.
Getting ideas from what each other's doing. It's
right.
Like a conversation back and forth with music and dancing, you know.
Yes. I really like that. And that helps make the show. And as long as you keep a good form in your body and your dancing and your music, you can because I've noticed, and you have too, you'd be dancing and I'd get up close to you and hit some hot licks, you know.
Yeah.
Then you come back and hit some hot licks on that banjo, and it's just made it better. Because I've danced to music everywhere, and everybody can't play good dance music. They fancy their stuff up too much, you know.
Right.
Just a lot of fancy notes put together, and some don't even stay with the tune. You know, they just put a bunch of notes together that don't mean anything.
There's a saying that I've heard people say that they're gilding the lily. You know, you got this pretty flower there. It doesn't need to have gold put on top of it, you know.
Right. Yeah. The music has got a lot to do with the way you dance and the way you sing. If you're a singer, it's the same way. It's got a lot to do with it, and a lot of people don't know that. A lot of dancers don't know it, and a lot of musicians don't know it.
Yeah.
I was on TV once because the reason I was on there, I was supposed to dance that tune that the band was playing. Well, they covered my dance up. I couldn't hear what.
Yeah.
The reason they wanted me on there because I was going to dance that tune, be part of it. But I couldn't. When it come to my dance, my time to dance, that covered me up.
Sound man will make a mistake every once in a while. Them musicians knew.
Yeah.
The musicians knew.
Yeah,
they
did. They told me. They told me that. But see, I wanted her just like they're playing their fiddle, you know, and stuff.
Because you're not just dancing to the music. You are a musician. You're making sound with them.
I'm music with music. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I spend my goal. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Been my goal ever since I've been dancing. It's to try to make myself good enough to do that. It takes more skill to do that. And the skill is what I'm after. It's not just getting out there jumping up and down. It's trying to be as skillful as I can. And I'm trying to pass that on. And I've got a little friend here that I'm working with that's what I tell them all the time. Now the dancers got to where they just want to beat the floor, make a lot of noise. They want to make more noise than they do to make it blend with the music. And that's where the art comes in. It's what you're doing. You don't want to run away with it. You want to be a part of it, you know. So, and this is what I've been trying to teach
You know, this dancing has took you a lot of places, and you've done a lot of things and made a lot of good friends along the way, hadn't you?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yeah, the Hillary Klug, I've known her since she was
Since she's a kid. Yeah.
since she was a kid, and
Yeah.
when I had my stroke, I couldn't even clap. I couldn't even do this right here. They came to the hospital. Hillary and
another one of the people that's worked with you, Courtney Derryberry, which she was Courtney Williams back then.
Courtney Williams back then. Yes, she was that I helped in dancing, and they came to the nursing home that I was in and helped get me back to the, and it really made me feel good.
Brought your steps back to you that you taught them.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that means a lot to me too. And it's hard for me to teach dancing. I like to talk about it and tell them what I see. It looks good, and what steps to lead up to being. This step right here will lead to a lot of stuff. Toe and a heel, toe and a heel, toe and a heel. That learns you to dance on both feet at the same time. While one foot is doing a lot of dancers just dance on one foot. And then they shift over and dance on the other foot, with a toe and a heel. But once you learn to do toe and a heel, and when you got this toe down, and you come down with it, this heel is not on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
But your weight is right here on the ball of your foot then. All you gotta do is set it down just like this. You set it down. And then that frees yourself over here, do the same thing over here. Then you learn to double up on your steps.
Mm-hmm.
You learn to put your steps in time. And it just means a lot.
I've noticed that watching a lot of people, especially cloggers, they've got a basic step that, it's set up where you get that bum diddy bum sound off of one foot and then switch to the other foot and do it. But the way that you do it, I didn't realize this until I had been doing this with you for a number of years, that you get that lick a different way, that you tap one toe and then tap the other toe and then the heel on that foot or something like that.
Yes.
And it's
I get lost. I just get lost in rhythm and timing. When the music starts, I just get so involved in it. When I used to get pretty nervous, I'd tell the person that was behind me what tune I wanted the band to play, because I'd forget when I got up. I was hyped up and nervous, and they'd have to tell me the name of the tune that I wanted to play, and then I would tell the band.
Yeah.
But I'm not that as far keyed up now as I used to be.
Yeah.
But age has a way of controlling things.
You used to like to dance to Down Yonder a lot.
Down Yonder, I've won lots of dances with Down Yonder. They would the Down Yonder someone beckoned to me. They would quit playing, and I'd dance that tune. I'd dance them notes on through.
Yeah.
And the musicians would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They would all come back into playing on note 6, and I was supposed to be right on that note when they come back in, and most of the time I was.
that second one right.
Woo-wee.
Something like that?
Yeah. 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 And you hit it right on its
Yeah.
son.
Thank you. I learned from the best.
It's all in the timing. It's all in the time. Music is time. Timing. Dancing is timing. It's 100%. If you dancing out of time, or if you playing the tune out of time, it's just noise.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're all together, that's when it becomes 100%.
Yeah.
You know, and that is 75 or 80%. Hardly ever gets to be anything under 80% because musicians, they begin to straight, get back in time, and the dancers, most time the dancers throws the musicians off.
Yeah.
The musicians don't like to play for dancers with taps on, because it's so easy to get out of time, and timing is the most important part.
And the taps tell on them.
The taps tell on you. The notes tell on you.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Well, a musician knows when they're between the beat, but it's hard for dancers to tell that where they're between the beat or on the beat.
A lot of people don't know the difference between buck dancing and clogging. I think they've heard of clogging, but they don't know what buck dancing is. Can you talk about what the difference is?
Well, the difference is a clogger, and clogging is a good dance.
Yeah.
To me now, it takes a young person, because when you get older, your age won't let you do what a clogger can do or likes to do, and it is a good dance. But when we used to do shows before I had my stroke, Jay Bland, he used to go and dance with me and do workshops with me.
Yeah.
And he was my first dancer that I really did have trained good. But he got sick and he couldn't go with us on our trips. So I thought at that time we needed a clogger to show the difference, because Jay and I, we danced just about the same.
Yeah.
I thought we needed a clogger to go and this young boy that I know since he was just young himself.
Corey Posey?
Corey Posey he danced on square dance groups and danced individual. He knowed all about clogging. He knowed about buck dancing. He knowed about flatfooting. So
and he could do 2 or 3 different styles of clogging.
2 or 3 different styles of clogging.
I believe clogging has changed over the years.
And so he started going with us on shows, and it just made it better. That way we could show the difference between clogging and buck dancing, because I couldn't do no clogging, none whatsoever. And so it made it better.
Yeah.
And so we was friends, and I've known him since he was a little boy, and he was fun to be around. He laughed a lot, and he just helped make the show,
Yeah.
So he goes with us now, because I haven't done anything since we haven't done anything really since I had a stroke, because it brought my dancing down, like showing off, what my feet can do. But I'm gradually getting back at it. And now I'm going to show you some Flatfoot, and then my apprentice is here, is going to show you some clogging. So are you ready? Give me something, Danny. Do that now. I don't like to say I've taught
Yeah.
Anyone to dance. I've helped them dance.
Right.
The dance is left up to them. It's just little details in between there is what sometimes you don't know that I've learned that helped me is I'm not the best at it, but I'm not the worst either.
Yeah.
So, but I've made a lot of friends, got a lot of friends, I think. Sometimes you don't have a lot of friends that do dancing when you compete with each other.
That's one thing I worry about with a lot of these art forms is people getting so competitive with one another that they lose the camaraderie of it and passing it on. But you've taught a lot of them you've kind of took a lot of different people under your wing over the years.
Jay Bland.
Jay Bland is a big one.
I've helped Jay Bland. I've helped Hillary since she was probably 10 or 12, and now I got a young person that's coming along really good. I think Jake.
Jake Fennell. Yeah.
He's coming along good, and proud of it.
And we had Courtney Williams.
Courtney Williams, she caught on to my dances about as quick as any dancer, but she plays music herself. She plays the guitar. So what I was talking to her about, she could understand what I was saying because she plays music, and she picked it up pretty quick. And so, but I'm proud of all of them. It's not that my dance is the best. It's the way I like to do and what I like to see with a good body. I don't like beating the floor. I like floating.
Yeah.
Floating and making contact.
Yeah. That clap right there is, I don't know if they can hear on here what your foot's doing, but you, with the patting your foot and clapping your hands, that rhythm that you've got going.
That rhythm, yes.
I've been to other parts of the country, but I kind of wonder if that's unique to people around here. But I grew up hearing you do that, and older dancers. But I remember, we would be playing music, and you'd get right in my ear with that.
Yes.
Rhythm and timing.
It turns you on. It turns you loose. It makes you get the drive in there. And
yes,
I got a little great grandson that's 9 months old right now that when I do that, he looks around and smiles.
Yeah.
And you mix it up. Yeah. But you can't ought to do it unless you pat your foot. That's another note right there.
You've had you got several other great grandkids too that they've been on things like Tennessee Crossroads with you and
yes. Tennessee Crossroads. I've been a lucky dancer. I've been a lucky dancer my life of getting to do. Got the governor's award, and that was a great honor. Got to meet Becky Hill, was a great honor. She's a good dancer, really good dancer, and a good teacher too. And what's that lawyer friend of mine?
That's a dancer.
Yeah.
Probably Sage Snyder.
Yes, Sage. Sage is. I've helped. We've talked about dancing a lot, And she went on and went to law school and made a lawyer. She's in Washington now.
Yeah.
And so, but I've helped a lot. I've got a festival in my name they call Maupin Fest. That's in Eagleville, Tennessee. And that's coming up. When's the date on that?
That it's late September.
Late September. We're just getting started on it. I believe this will be the fifth year, fifth year. So
something like that. We had to, the pandemic kind of changed scheduling on that.
Yes. and that's Uncle Shufflow's farm behind Hollow's Hootenannies.
Right.
It looks just like a park, so it's a good place to come. Got plenty shades, plenty shade trees. Got a stage, old time music and old time dancing, and it is sanctioned the national championship of old time buck dancing. So I mean, it's the real deal. A lot of some people say that they've danced in competition and won, but Maupin Fest is the only one that's been sanctioned to the governor.
Mm-hmm.
Is old time buck dancing, old time music. Is what we used to have plenty of old time music, and when I grew up in Eagleville, we had some old time music, but it wasn't old time banjo music.
Yeah.
And Cliff Top, when I went to Cliff Top, and I seen then that it was a different that music.
Yeah.
We just fit right together because it was old time banjos and old time licks on it. You know, you wouldn't fancy playing. Well, it's fancy music. It's good music.
Yeah.
It takes skill to play it, and it's been here since we've been here. People sitting around at home playing music out in the yard.
Yeah.
Laying back against the wall, both two chairs, two legs.
Yeah.
Sitting around playing at night after they got through working.
Uncle Dave Macon was a big one from around here in this area, wasn't he?
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
He had about 3 or 4 different styles of old time banjo licks.
Yeah, and he influenced a whole lot of people. You know, the first banjo player that I ever remember hearing, I think he learned from a guy that learned from him, and then, you know, so there was, I think there used to be a lot of that old time in this area, but it's dying out.
It's fading out, yes.
And then sometimes I get to thinking it's sort of hopeless as far as the stuff staying alive. I thought, well, there ain't any of the old timers left, but then I thought, wait a minute, I've got one of the better known ones right here. You know, lucky enough to have grown up around you. You know.
Thank you.
So, you know, Maupin Fest, we've got the national championship there, but I've got to give a shout out to Uncle Dave Macon days because they had it first, you know, I think starting in about 1986, and then they passed it on to us, but we've carried it on since then out there. But back when they were having that Uncle Dave Macon days, you won the national championship about 6 or 7 times, didn't you?
6 times, I believe in my career of dancing in the nationals there,
and won a bunch of state championships too on top of that.
Right. Because I've danced everywhere. They let me dance.
You've gotten awards from all kinds of things, like with the Old Time Herald gave you an award, I remember, and then one of these national clogging associations gave you an award, and you've been inducted into the Clogging Hall of Fame, even though you're a buck dancer because of the big role that buck dancing played in the history of the development of clogging, I'm sure,
right,
you know, and then you got an award from the Tennessee State Governor, and here's a big one. We went to, you remember about the biggest one, we went to Washington, D.C. You got the National Heritage Fellowship.
Now that was a surprise to me. One morning I was down at the barn feeding my animals, and my oldest daughter, she was in the goat soap business, and I got this call on my cell phone that I had won this honor in the arts. I thought it was a joke. Somebody trying to pull a joke on me, and this man told me that I had won the biggest honor you could win in the arts, and so I was questioning a little bit more. I said, well, how did I win it? He said, well, somebody turned your name in and they voted on it, and you have won. You have won it. I said, well, who turned my name in? He said, well, I can't say. So it bothered me because I didn't know who I had danced around had turned my name in, and I found out later that it was Becky Hill, which is a friend.
Becky Hill and another good buddy of ours, Mr. Casey Mickles. You know,
Casey Mickles and Becky Hill is a terrific dancer, and she was familiar with stuff like that. So they told you and Casey Mickles. She told you and Casey Mickles about it, and said, y'all, you need to turn your granddaddy's name in. So y'all turned my name in. I didn't know it, you know. And my name had been turned in a year and nobody told me. And it was quite a surprise too.
That was a hard secret to keep too.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm glad you did, and I thank you for it. Thank you for it.
Got to dance at the Library of Congress. You remember dancing on that marble floor in there?
Oh yeah, I was high as a kite. Not with drinking, but high on music. And I really felt good in that marble floor. It's hard to even walk on marble floor with taps on. But I got to floating on it and then danced on it and didn't slip up. But I dance with my feet up under me. I don't dance out the side anyway, over here and over there. I dance, try to dance straight up, but not too straight up.
Yeah.
You know, and I've never failed on the floor dancing. And I think I contribute that to my feet being up under me.
Yeah.
And so I've had a good life. I've had a good life. And I'm 85 years old. And
Not a lot of dancing in that time,
and I can still dance some. Not like I did, but I can't hit them hot licks. I can still do
I've heard one every once in a while.
I can still say shaving haircut in 2 bits.
Yeah.
And that's important now to me.
What does buck dancing mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me. It means everything. It gives me a chance to pass my dance on, and that way I'll really never get old, and my dance will always be here. So it means a lot, and it means a lot to me to be doing this show here, to tell what I think and what I like about dancing, and the knowledge that I've learned over the years that I've danced, and I'm not through yet. This is Jake Fennell, a young person now that I'm helping on dancing, that's coming along pretty good, and his mom is a dancer from Robert Spicer in Dixon, which won the same deal I did back a few years ago. And I've seen him do this right here, teaching his kids timing. And Jake has too, didn't you, Jake?
Yes.
When you was a little young boy?
Yes.
So I'm trying to help Jake to pass my style of dancing on, and he's doing pretty good.
Thomas here says that he ain't no teacher, but he is one of the best mentors and teachers that I think anybody in the dancing world can say that they've ever run upon. Instead of telling you how to dance, this is one of the few people who shows you how to dance, because you can't teach them how to feel the music, but somehow you manage to let everybody feel the music and be different while showing them the exact same thing.
That part's important, Jake. Is feeling the music. That music inside of you, in the notes that's in you, the musician just brings that out of you. And it's come down from deep inside of you.
Yep. Show them how to feel it, not tell them how to feel it.
Right, yeah. and you can tell you're in a band or recognize, that might not be the right word for it, but it'll recognize how you make that music making you feel, and then you're like you blow up like a balloon. You get light, and you hit more steps. Hit steps you never have hit before.
Oh yeah.
Because it just does something to you, and that's what I like to teach. That's what I like to talk about when I'm talking to another dancer. Is how the music can bring you out of a slump, and make you feel good, and make you do good too, and make you learn a new step. You're always trying to learn what comes out of me, not what comes out of somebody else. Is what I'm helping the knowledge, trying to pass my knowledge on to you, where you can pass it on to someone else, and we'll always have some dancers that we'd be proud of. Yeah. And I've got some dancers that I'm proud of. Thank y'all for coming out, and we're gonna leave you with Down Yonder.